Alright, welcome back everybody. We're going to do a pod review today on a very special pepper to me, and I've been trying to grow this pepper for probably around 4, maybe even 5 years nowadays. Don't know. It's been a very, very long journey, and every time I buy seed for it, it was always the Cascabella and never the Cascabel pepper, and I have many theories as to why this problem actually occurred, but they're all theories. So anyway, a friend of mine from Mexico sent me some seeds to the true version of the Cascabel pepper. This is what they actually grow in Mexico. And this is what they use to make many dishes and Mexican dishes. This is the traditional pepper that's used. And so this is called the Cascabel pepper. I've been trying to grow this for many years. I could never seem to get a true source of the seed. And I thank my friend. And here it is. So let's pick this one off. We got ourselves a nice little Cascabel. It's still a little bit slightly brown on the bottom, looks like. I guess they turn red when they're fully ripe. This is kind of starting to get soft, so I don't know how much more you have to wait for it, but I would imagine this is about as ripe as you're going to get for the sake of a video. Now, normally with these type of peppers, you want to pick them when they start turning brown, because they basically go from like a green color, then they turn brown, and eventually they turn red. So I'm not sure at what stage you would want to pick them and dry them per se, if you're going to dry them out. And I'm not exactly sure, when the best time to pick it. I grow them for seed, so I just wait till they fully mature. So anyway, here it is. A little bit of information I do know about it is this is also referred to the rattle chili. As you've seen earlier in the video, you see me shaking that little thing around. Well, what happens is this particular variety of pepper, when it dries out, it doesn't shrivel up and turn into a flat, thing, and it pretty much keeps its shape. And when it dries out, all the seeds on the inside, if you bang it around, you bang it a few times against something, all those seeds break off the placenta, and then it sounds like a rattle, or a maraca, if you will, and they shake around. Here's an example of one that has been pre-dried and all of that, and so here we go. You can see how they shake, the seeds shake around like a little maraca. So in different parts of Central America, they'll dry these out and give them to the kids, and the kids get to play with these things like little maracas, and it's a harmless, fun little toy for a young adult, right, for a child. So that's basically why they call it a rattle chili. It's one of the few chilies you can do that with, where it doesn't, when it dries out, it doesn't get flat or anything like that. It keeps the shape. It generally stays like this when you dry them out, all right, or like what you just seen. So not too much. I don't know too much else about it, like what kind of Mexican dishes or Central American dishes from other countries that would use it and how it's applied to dishes. I don't know all that information offhand, but I will leave whatever information I do have on the Cascabel pepper in the description below, and you can read about it there. But here it is. Let's turn you around and give that a go. Oh, hi everybody. We're going to do a little pod review today on a very special pepper. That's the Cascabel pepper. All right, welcome back everybody. We're going to do a pod review today. It's going to be on this pepper right here. This is called the Cascabel pepper, and I've been trying to grow the Cascabel pepper for a number of years, and we're finally here. We finally got to this point where we can actually do the review on the Cascabel pepper. Now, this is the true version of the Cascabel, 100%. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. I was reassured several times that this pepper is going to be the authentic pepper. Again, I have a dried one here. They're round, so they like to roll off tables. I have a dried one here, as you can see. You hear those seeds shaking around? They call this a rattle chili, and what they do in many parts of Central and South America is they'll dry these out, and they'll give it to the kids. They'll knock them around, get the seeds loose, give it to the kids, and the kids got something harmless to play with rather than something dangerous to play with, and the kids can have fun with it. So anyway, we're going to do a pod review on the fresh version of this pepper, okay? Now, there are several ways to consume this pepper. You can eat it fresh. You can eat it where it's like semi-fresh or something like that, or you can eat it where it's totally dry and use it in cooking and stuff like that. Or you could even turn it into a powder if you want. So there's many different ways to eat this pepper and use it. This review is basically going to be on the fresh version, which I don't think many people have done a review on the true version of the casket bell pepper of a fresh variety. So here it is. Let's give it a bite and see what it tastes like. Okay, so right out the gate, just to get this straight out of the way, the skins are very thick on it. Okay, they're very thick. This is the type of pepper you would probably want to dry out. Now, secondly, what I've noticed with eating one of these fresh, anyway, the second thing I've noticed is that it was very tangy, but like a type of acidic type of tangy. Maybe almost even slightly bitter, but not, I'm not going to say bitter because it wasn't bitter. I ate it and I was fine. So it wasn't bitter, but it did have a very prominent tangy or acidity aspect to that flavor profile. It was pretty dominant. The other part about this thing is it's pretty firm as far as the pepper goes. It's not like a weak, this pepper is best for drying. There's really no other way around it. Eating one of these fresh isn't probably going to be the most delectable experience, though. What you probably could stuff these if you wanted to. I mean, these are big enough to stuff, and so you could probably stuff them and do something with it that way. But my advice would be to pretty much dry. You could probably even get away with pickling, but again, these skins are pretty thick and they're pretty strong. It was like eating an apple skin basically. And the flesh inside is very short-lived, so to speak. So as soon as you chew it up, the flesh kind of will break up faster than the skin per se. And then once that happens, you're left with just the skins, and you got to chew them. Though the funny thing was, as thick as those skins were, they did chew up pretty nicely. They weren't. I wouldn't say they were like chewing an apple skin per se. It was similar to it though. It was thick like an apple, but it still chewed up. As far as the flesh part goes, that pretty much dissipates. It's got a very firmness to the flesh. It's not exactly soft or anything like that. I'll take another bite off the top where it's a little more ripe. Okay, so taking a bite up off the top, there was a little bit of a slight appley flavor where it was more red. So it seems like it develops that appley flavor and that tangy tardiness subsides a little bit more. So again, I'm eating it in that transition period where it's going from like brown to red or brown or something like that. And so that's probably why it's getting more of that tangy flavor, because it's going through that transition period and the starches are converting over to sugars. And so you're going to get that effect from it. Whereas if you let it fully ripen, you'll probably just get you just get it like a mild taste. Now, it didn't really necessarily have a sugary type flavor to it, but it did have a an appley taste. So picture like tasting the apple, just not having the sugar part follow up with it. So it did have that flavor to it, but it wasn't sugary. Now, getting into heat, there was a little bit of heat on this when I first bit into it. I did get a little bit of a heat. It was really low. It was, I wouldn't put this thing past the heat, maybe 200 on the Scoville scale, 300, something like that. And it was very short-lived. It was mainly where I was chewing hard, because you got to really chew this thing pretty good. So it's really rubbing up against your gums, and that's where I was kind of getting a little bit of the burn, a little bit on around the edge of the tongue, mostly on the gums, because it's like it's getting ground up and it's getting pushed up and down on your gums, and a very slight bit on the back of the throat, very light tingle of glow, like in that region around there. I can't quite exactly place it, but there was a little bit of heat on this, and it wasn't very strong. And it's very short-lived. It's not an aggressive, chancy type burn. It was just a very mild, almost glowing type burn. I say almost glowing because it's not quite the same as a macadam burn, but it was almost like that. It was a pretty mild burn is the best way to put it. So not much going on with that part of it, but there was something there. There was definitely something there. Now, can they get hotter than that? I don't know. They probably could. I don't know what the Scoville rating offhand is for the Cascabel bell peppers, but I would imagine it could probably pick up a little more heat, very similar to like really any other pepper. Even sweet peppers can sometimes start producing capsaicin if the environment is conducive enough for it. They can start to produce a little bit of heat. Like normally sweet peppers that people buy, Jimmy Nardello's, maybe Cowhorns, maybe other peppers like that that don't normally produce heat, when you grow them in certain environments and are under stress for like the entire growing season, that could sometimes trigger a capsaicin response. You may not get very hot out of it, but there might show a little bit of heat in there. So it's just a natural defensive mechanism all pepper plants have. Some of them that are not hot, like bell peppers, for example, there's a recessive gene inside that pepper that makes it sweet. It's actually, the sweet peppers are the oddballs in the bunch because all peppers are supposed to produce capsaicin. It's the ones that don't produce capsaicin that are the oddballs. That's the best way that I can put it. As far as this pepper goes, it was a really, really good experience. I am going to try to dry out. I don't have that many on there. And I do want to, I'm going to bring it in and I am going to grow it next year. Hopefully larger plants and or grow that one outdoor and really get a whole bunch of them so I can really experiment with this pepper. And maybe dry a couple of them out whole for you to show you what they look like once they're dry and how they're whole. And then, maybe do a little more research on the history of it and how it's applied in different cultures. So anyway, guys, that's really about it. That's what this all came out to, is this one video on the Cascabel bell pepper. And so what I'll do is whatever information I do have, I will put in the description below and on the website. I will also leave a link in the description below. That'll bring you over to the website so you can buy these wonderful little seeds that you see on there. And you can see the seed ball in there. And you can give it a grow for yourself. This is the true version, so this is what you're going to get. You're not going to get the Cascabel pepper. And so that's really it. You can see I'm wearing my glasses. These were sent to me to give a review on them. I'm trying them out. They're supposed to be anti-glare glasses, and you know me with my problems with trying to look at this monitor thing. I can never see it. Once the sun comes out, you can't see it. So we're going to try these out and see if I can actually see the screen while the sun's out. But it's not really sunny right now, so it doesn't matter. But we'll do a review on these, maybe during the winter months when I get time. We'll put them to the test and do a review on it. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.